Welcome. My name is Rigo Garcia and I'm the Director of Health Education here at the Venice Family Clinic. Today we're going to do a recipe that is a chicken and sausage jambalaya. So what we're going to use, as you can see, it looks like a lot of ingredients, but actually it's not very many. We're going to use a couple of different spices, so you'll need some olive oil, black pepper, some oregano, chili flakes, a little bit of chili powder, some chicken broth, and with some of your veggies, you're gonna need some tomatoes, onion, bell peppers, celery, and a bay leaf. Okay, and so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna walk you step by step how you can easily make this healthy recipe, which is low in cost and it's gonna be pretty quick to make. So what you're gonna need for this recipe is a good sized pot. And in the pot, what you're gonna do is that we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You're gonna allow that to start heating up, let that heat up, and while that heats up, we're gonna get our next step, what we need as part of our chicken and sausage jambalaya. We're gonna start with the sausage. For the sausage, what we wanna do is that you wanna cut them not too small, not too big, mixing bowl, just to make it a little easier for us. Next, you're gonna use a whole onion, and so we wanna cut that up. And you can add that to the mixing bowl so that we have everything and we take everything to the pot together, because all of this is gonna cook together. Now we're gonna cut up some tomatoes. And same thing, you just wanna cut them up into small little cubes, not too small, but just a really good size so you can add them in. Next, you're gonna use some bell peppers, the orange or the red or even the yellow ones. They're a little less tart than the green ones and give it a little more flavor. And it also looks much nicer on the plate. But for this one, same thing. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna cut them up in strips. Once you cut them up in strips, you're gonna wanna just chop them up into small pieces. Makes it a lot easier when it's cooking. And this will also help if you have any picky eaters that don't like some of their veggies. This is a great way for them to be able to eat them because it's all mixed in together. Next, we're gonna cut up some celery. For the celery, you can use 2 stalks of the celery is more than enough for this recipe. And for this one, same thing. The best way to be able to cut a celery is cut it in half. And then what we're gonna do is just cut them in some strips to make it easier. And then the same thing, what you're gonna do is that you're just gonna drag the knife to chop them up into small pieces. And the last thing you're gonna add to for this step is some minced garlic. So you can just get a clove of garlic or 2. It depends on how much garlic you like. But you're just gonna add that to it. That's 1 clove, and some of them are a little small, so we're gonna add a second one. Perfect. And all of this is now gonna go into your pot. You're gonna allow for that to cook for about 5 minutes. This is in medium-high heat, and what you're gonna do is that you wanna stir every so often so that nothing gets burned. But it's gonna take you about 5 minutes in medium to high heat. So after 5 minutes, the vegetables and the sausage are gonna be cooking. What you're gonna be doing as that is finishing up, you're gonna mix your next ingredients. What we're gonna use is a 1/4 of a cup of tomato sauce. So we can open that up. Add that to the bowl. Next, we're gonna use some of our spices. So we are gonna do a 1/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of, you can use ground oregano or dry oregano, either one will work. We're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red chili flakes. And you can add more if you want a little more spice. And a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, and so with everything, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna take this over to the pot and add it to what's already cooking. So once you add your spices, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna turn up the heat to about high, just to bring it to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, you're gonna wanna reduce it down to medium heat, and you're gonna cook this for about 10 minutes. During this time, you do want to stir it every once in a while, and while that is getting prepped, what we're going to do next is that we're going to start to prep the chicken. And so for this one, what we're going to want to do is that we are going to want to take, we're going to use a pound of chicken. What you're going to want to do is that you are going to cut the chicken into small cubes. Small pieces. This way it cooks much faster and we have everything ready to go. So once you have your chicken all cut up, you're gonna put that to the side and we'll touch that in a little bit. You're gonna wanna make sure that you clean your area after you've touched the chicken, just to make sure that you don't have any salmonella and you don't get sick as we're doing this. But as our items are cooking, what we're gonna do next is that we are going to add the chicken broth. And so we're gonna add a cup and 3/4 of chicken broth into our soup now. So as that all is cooking, we're gonna allow that now to cook for about 10 more minutes. And while that starts to cook, you have that in medium heat. And this is just cooking so that all of the flavors come together. And that's the reason that you're allowing this when we first brought it up to a boil, then we reduce the heat. And as that is cooking, what we're gonna do is now we're gonna get ready our rice ready so that we can add our rice to our stew, our jambalaya. And the best one to get is just any type of pre-cooked or ready to eat rice. Brown rice is a healthier choice than white rice. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add that to the pot. So after we've added the rice to our stew, what we're gonna do now is that you're gonna let that cook for about 5 more minutes. Allow the rice to just get ready to go. And once we have that, we're now going to add our chicken to the pot. As the chicken is cooking, you're gonna allow that to cook for about 5-10 minutes. You wanna make sure that the chicken is fully cooked. So you wanna continue to stir as we're doing this recipe. And what you're gonna wanna take a look at is, as you're stirring, is to make sure that as you stir, you're going to the bottom of the pot and pulling the soup from the bottom of the pot up, just to make sure that your chicken is fully cooked. This should take about 5 minutes altogether. And once all of that is done, I will show you the finishing recipe, the finishing touch.